What's going on, legends? Welcome back to today's news. First off, before we get going, I want to say thank you to everyone that went and bought one of the Mentality is Everything. We Don't Quit Whoop bands. The We Don't Quit clasp has sold out and did very fast, but down the line. But the band still is available if you want to get one. Seeing you lot rock it, super cool. Anyway, since the last video, there has been a few things that have happened within the CrossFit space. So today we're just going to talk about them because we're now merely days away from, look at that video editing, eh? From the start of the CrossFit Games. And then I can go. Now, where we're going to start today is with you lot. I found recently that you can put polls on the community page. And so I've been utilizing it to understand a little bit more about the legends that watch this video, i.e. you right now, wherever you are. Sat on the toilet, sat on the couch, in the car, as a passenger, maybe in the garden, maybe over breakfast. Maybe you just find these boring and it sends you to sleep. Anyway, I asked you a couple of questions about the state of CrossFit and just other things around CrossFit, and this was your answers. First off, the GOAT of CrossFit. Are you going with Matt Fraser, Rich Froning, or Tia-Clair Toomey? I only gave 3 options. We had 11,000 votes and this was the result. Do you agree? Do you agree? Second thing I actually wanted to know was, do you think that gymnastics is getting too specific? And there was an overwhelming response at 71% saying yes. Dave Castro this year did say that it may be looking a little bit more old school CrossFit. Will we kind of not see as specific gymnastics this year? Who knows? 71% of you would like to not see it.
I think there's also this kind of perspective or mindset in my head of just returning to the core, returning to basics, returning to just simple, just
CrossFit,
straightforward CrossFit. Yeah. And as you see with Chad, kind of just work and just getting done. If anything, think about it having layers removed rather than layers put on.
Okay.
And so that's kind of my approach to it.
I had to ask, snatch or clean and jerk? And I was let down. I'm part of Team Snatch for sure, but I only joined 43% of you lot. A controversial one. Should the games stay in the USA or should they move around the world? After the news that Dave Castro said that in 2027-ish, they're looking to move away from America into the rest of the world. Possibly. And this was your feedback. 73% of 5,100 of you CrossFitters out there said that they would like the games to be outside of the USA. And then finally, I've only just put this up before making this video, so it's only got 474 votes, but needed to know what your favorite aspect of CrossFit was. And I wasn't disappointed, put it that way. Was not disappointed. What I also wasn't disappointed about was the Friday Night Lights event. Obviously, we got told a couple of weeks ago that there will be a Friday Night Lights at the Farrington Field Stadium in Fort Worth, but we didn't get any more information. Well, now we have.
Here we go!
On Friday night, we will be getting a field sprint, athletes then rest, and then it's a 1,600 meter run. Basically a mile for time, little fatigued. Dave has been asking in a lot of his interviews what are people's mile times, so. And probably one of the favorites for this event, Haley Adams took to her story and said her opinion on the mile for time.
Okay, not being biased here, but if I was a spectator and I got to watch some of the fittest athletes in the world line up on a track and run a mile for time, that's epic. I'm sorry, that is epic. I don't want to do it. I'd rather watch because, it's going to hurt really bad. But watching a mile for time, even watching during the Olympics, it's so cool. So, just my opinion.
Actually, after his interview with Dave, Dallin Pepper did call this a little early. So hats off to him. What do you think about the event? Do you think it's a cool one or not a cool one? Obviously, we've got running as a first event on the first day, then the next day they've got to do more running. Very different domains. There was a comment on the announcement that did make me laugh. It was like, is there any tackling? And I don't know why, just in my head, I can imagine just like. Imagine if it was allowed, it'd be chaos. Now, obviously with the field sprint, we've kind of seen sprints in the past, but we don't know what this one is going to entail. But what we kind of do know is that Dave Castro put individual event 6 implement on his Instagram, and it is the Happy Star from Rogue Fitness, the Texas edition. And if you zoom in, it looks like it's 170 pounds. And in the comments, it kind of got people talking. Are people holding it in their rest time? Will people be sprinting with it? How will it be implemented at the field? If it is implemented at the field. People have kind of put 2 and 2 together. Saturday morning is Chad, that's individual event 7. So surely Farringdon Field is individual event 6. You get it.
3, 2, 1.
Now, in some smaller bits of news around some of the athletes that are going to the CrossFit Games, Amy Kringle, rookie coming out of the UK. I'm going to admit it, I can't dive too, but this was her attempt at a dive. She's still learning.
Right.
But look where you're going, don't put your arms in front of your face.
Obviously now being kind of just 2 weeks out, there'll be the intensity there, but maybe the volume not so much. And I think the intensity is being felt a little bit by BKG here.
This is my idea of a very nice day out.
Carrying on with the intensity part, Danny Spiegel. You know when you go to like the dark place and your body starts to not do what you tell it? Well, this happened in a workout she did. A lot of traveling will be going on over the next couple of weeks. A lot of athletes will be getting there early to acclimatise, and Harry Lightfoot, the other rookie out of the UK that I actually met a long time ago. This shows like, this makes me feel old, but now he's going to the games and look at him here. I mean, what a guy, fair play. He's made up his own individual event 1 before the games has even started, and it's raw dogging a 9 hours and 19-minute flight. The entertainment systems are there for a reason. I don't understand that. I don't understand raw dogging flights. It doesn't make any sense to me. Just sit there and enjoy the movies. Like the Kung Fu Panda's on there. Sit and watch that. Sam Dancer possibly shows us the longest ear hair ever known to man. Although I can say, you know, as you get a bit older, every so often you get like a nose hair and you're like, whoa, how long has that been growing? Like, yeah, I get it when he says, I swear these things just pop up out of nowhere. But I've never had one on my ear. Not yet, just in my nose. And occasionally the random straggler on the face. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, just, if you know, you know. Now, if you're actually heading to Fort Worth for the CrossFit Games, Khan Porter has got you covered. He's put on his detective hat, his Chuck Norris vibe hat. He's already there right now, alongside his sidekick and teammate Emily DeRoy, and apparently they did it. They found the best spot for coffee in Fort Worth. Crude Coffee Bar, and he said, thank us when you see us at the CrossFit Games, peeps. Usually you don't really trust people when they say, this is good coffee or it's not, you have to test it for yourself. But they are Australian, and if anyone does good coffee and knows good coffee and you know, they'll probably say it themselves, a little bit of coffee snobs. It's the Australians, so I know where I'm heading for my morning brew. Thank you, Khan. Got a Jazz Funko Pop. If you rub its head, the real Jazz appears.
I don't know why I had to crawl in.
Also, actually speaking about Fort Worth and things that are going on, Friday morning. We don't know the time exactly. We don't want it to clash with any events. We're doing a hustle pop-up. Jazz is organising it, and we gave her a budget, and she said we should put the budget on free beer for the team.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I think that we should have some free beer and have a good time and come and have a beer with Craig and Jazz. And we'll have some cool merch that I'm not wearing right now. Do you want me to go and get it?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay, we'll have some cool merch and limited edition for the games, and it's going to be really, really fun.
And some limited edition hustle beer cozies
Oh,
and stuff.
yes.
There's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on.
Maybe some
but
stickers.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so stay tuned on our Instagram and here for that as well.
And it's got a really cool venue.
Friday
as well.
morning.
There'll be food.
Friday morning.
Drinks. Is it Friday morning?
Friday afternoon.
I think it's Friday afternoon.
Friday sometime. It's Friday sometime.
Don't check with Craig
Okay.
about timings.
We might try and get Zach Tallender
check
to
with
play
him.
as well.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Well, yep. That's what I need.
Is that how you play the guitar?
Oh, exactly. Now, talking about ingenuity, Yellowhoster had to do some jerk recoveries and he didn't do it from the rack. Or I guess he doesn't have a power rack at home, so he had to come up with like 101 ways to die sort of setup. I mean, it worked. he put rate my setup. I would give it 9 out of 10 for imagination, 2 out of 10 for safety. And then you guys last week chose Pain Face of the Week as Jason Hopper. But this week, something a little bit different. I want you to choose Outfit of the Week. We've got 1, Noah Olsen in his muscle suit. He literally looks like something you buy off Amazon, you know what I'm saying? Amy Kringle, before she obviously did that dive in her swimsuit. Or Elliot Simmons, if tackling was allowed in the individual event 6. Which one we choosing this week? Put it down in the comments below. And then a few other quick bits of news today. Tia Claire Toomey's birthday. As you're watching this, she turns 31. Someone shared this photo of her. Look at that haircut, hey? 2, we saw a little teaser from Boz about what's going to be happening with the teams, and it looks like the SUP board is huge. So it's going to be a team SUP. And Ilya Makarov from the Asia region, who got the backfill spot, was denied a visa to come to the United States of America, so won't be competing at the CrossFit Games. Also, Jay Crouch had us in the first part with his rental car. Now he's arrived in Nashville. You sneaky dog. And when the CrossFit Games are sponsored by GoRuck, any excuse to wear it. Isn't that right, Luka Dukic? Apparently there was a giant spider on the rower.
It's around here somewhere.
But you lost eye contact with it.
Let's just run in front of her. Here she copies. Oh yeah, good.
That's good. Back to the news. Right, to finish off the news, we've got to talk about Dave Castro and the things that he's kind of been hinting about the CrossFit Games, or talking about between his athlete interviews and his week in reviews. So you don't have to watch them all. Go and watch them all if you'd like to. First up, he's saying that the Run Swim Run event, that will be the first event at the CrossFit Games, will happen at 7 a.m. in the morning. Maybe even 6 a.m. depending on how the demo team do.
We're gonna start at 7 a.m. so really early in the morning. And the week we're there leading up to the games, we'll take the demo team out there and test it at 7 a.m. just to see how the heat's going to affect it all. And if we have to, if it's too hot, we'll push it back and we'll start it at 6 a.m. We are going to do it. It's just a matter of when.
To which there were a few responses from athletes. Ariel Lowen goes, even with an early start of 7 a.m., I'm still going to bring the heat.
Oh, okay, goddamn.
And Abigail Dommett saying it's not that hot. Second up, the marathon row looks like at some point, if you're a CrossFit Games athlete, it's going to turn back up.
And maybe don't program the marathon row again while I'm competing. I think this might have been the worst experience ever.
I will guarantee you this, and for all Games athletes listening, it will for sure come back at some point.
Okay, great.
Let me rephrase that. As long as I'm involved, and when I'm not involved, if anybody who carries on the torch cares about tradition, that needs to come back at some point.
That's probably good news to some of you, maybe not to others. Dave Castro, on the interview with Jacqueline Dahlstrom, did say that the media team getting fired and them not being so good on social media has really affected their business. It's kind of like the first time we've heard it being said, even though we've seen it from kind of like the outside perspective.
Any more questions?
I do have one more.
Okay.
I just wonder, like, knowing everything that you know now, like today, and if we pretend that you're the boss of everything, what would you have done differently
in the past? Yeah, I think knowing where we are now, there was a point when we shut down our social media handles and we kind of got rid of our media team that I believe set us back and then set us on a path of literally, if you look at that moment in 1819 when we shut down our social media and started getting rid of our media teams, it kind of set us back. And it feels like we've been rebuilding and recovering everything from then. Yeah.
And as Chad is being an event at the CrossFit Games, Patrick Vellner brought up a point and made it very clear how he thinks it should go.
I'll tell you. My concern, my hope is that the twist is we do step overs.
Okay.
Because I think that, and then maybe some other thing to make it less tedious to watch because it's just boring for spectators. But I think that if we do step ups, a large percentage of the outcome will be determined by what your judge allows you to do.
Yep.
And that's the biggest problem with it. So when I see that workout, that's my concern is if I'm being forced to pimp the lockout and take an extra half second every rep and my neighbor is not, and the judge is saying like, this is pretty good, then I'm being penalized 30 seconds every 100 reps, which is impossible to overcome regardless of your fitness level in that workout. Yep. So that's the fear, is that outcomes are going to be determined by things other than fitness level.
That's a very legitimate concern.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure you guys know that. So I hope that's just.
And I especially after.
Do you agree? I think step overs are cool. I think that's pretty fun. I think it would be harder. And that is where we're going to end today's video. One thing I want to share with you actually quickly, I saw this on Instagram. 85% of the things we worry about never happen from a study. So just don't worry about it. Worry about that 15%. Team, if you want to get one of these Determined to Not Hate Running Club t-shirts, they're live now at Hustle Made. Legends, along with the Aggressively Average t-shirt, Jazz's collection. She's super proud. Thank you, Whip, for sponsoring this video. Probably gonna have one more news video before the games. Smash that like button if you did enjoy this video, and we'll catch you in the next one. No one told you today, you're an absolute legend. You're an absolute legend. Yes, hit that like button. Okay, love you all. Bye-bye.